Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks at TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk to you about the importance of being a producer. I've made a number of videos in the past about this, about why you should be a producer and not a consumer, and this has gotten some pushback from some people. Some of the things people will say is, well, but if you're producing, there has to be somebody to consume it. The point I'm making in these videos is not that the rest of the world's not going to consume stuff. Not that you don't consume anything at all, of course. From your diet, you eat food, there's farmers producing that. You're probably not growing your own crops. Maybe you are. But books and videos and webinars and stuff, they're going to be things you would consume. But the culture today is not of being a producer, it's of only consuming, infinite consumption. Maybe a little bit of production here and there, a little bit of producing something, but mainly consumption. And the life is being lived to consume, not to be like your creator and create and produce new things, but to consume, which is the exact opposite of being a creator. And it's the exact opposite of being like your creator and creating things, bringing new things, beautiful things into the world. Things that are unique to you. And so you may think that, well, but someone has to consume and this and listen, there are billions of people on this planet. The vast majority are never going to become producers. That's just a simple reality. There's always going to be an infinite market for people to consume products. Some of that is necessary goods. If you create cures for illnesses, if you write books that help people rise to the next level and become successful in their business endeavors, there's always going to be some need for some product like that. The problem comes in when you're living your life for the consumption of products. And I know this flies in the face of what most people are taught. From the commercials teaching you to consume on TV and on videos, and the movie product placement, and all this stuff teaches consumption. When they show wealthy people in the movies and TV, what do they show? They show consumption. They don't show the normal wealthy person who is making business deals, buying new businesses, hiring more people. They just show gratuitous consumption. And then people think that's what they need to strive for. And then they think when you talk about the blessing of the Lord making rich, they think rich equals consumption, except just consumption on a much higher level. But what rich really means is production, producing on a much higher level, where instead of reaching a few people, you're reaching thousands or millions or even billions. This is a different way of thinking. It's thinking big. But it is not letting yourself get caught up in the cares of the world, caught up in this mentality that the world has of only being a consumer. And yes, people will fight you on it. You'll tell them it's 11 o'clock at night and you're working still, and they'll tell you all the reasons why you're a workaholic, why that's bad, and you got to spend time with your family, and you got to do this, and you got to do, what about this? Oh, you're putting money above God. And they'll have all these excuses and things to try to take you away from producing. Meanwhile, when I work, I see it as a labor for God. I see it as doing things under the Lord, putting my fullest effort forth in honor to God. And so when someone's telling you that kind of stuff, that you need to go to church or whatever it is, something, they always try to use spiritual, religious phraseology and terms to guilt trip you into being mediocre like they are. But you have to understand, they're not seeing work as ennobling. They're not seeing work as an effort put forth toward honoring God. They just see it as some drudgery, some task they have to complete to get this money that they supposedly don't like, and yet they're working at a job they absolutely hate for that money. Meanwhile, you are putting in the effort, lovingly working for your customers and clients, doing it all unto the Lord. trying to provide the best service, the best products. And every step you're making is in honor of God. And the world's not going to understand that. Professing Christendom's not going to understand that. There's very few people that will understand that. And that's all right. You don't have to convince any of them. If they want to wallow around in mediocrity, if they want to pull each other down into the pit with them and talk about how you don't want to be a workaholic, work smarter, not harder, and all these things they want to tell themselves that makes themselves feel good while they're wallowing around in the mediocrity of the world, that's all right. That's for them to choose. But you've chosen a different path, one that's the path of righteousness, where you put forth effort each and every day in honor to God. You labor and produce. And yes, you work intelligently, but you also work hard. And you don't see work as a negative thing, as a bad thing, as something to pass the time, to get you some money so you can then do what you really exist for, which is to consume. Consume entertainment, consume products, to do all this consumption and not produce. So my friend, I want to really ask you today to stop and consider and think, when you're choosing to do something, is this the action of a producer? Somebody who's producing content, producing products, producing services? Or is this the action of a person who's a consumer, a person who lives to consume? Because many of these things are programmed in from early childhood. I remember sometimes being taught, just go watch television. When I was a kid, well, it was a form of babysitter. And yet I had to rid myself of that, because entertainment became something to do when you thought you didn't have anything to do because you didn't see all the opportunities available to you. It became something that you saw people do, that after work, they watched the news, they watched whatever favorite shows they had, and consumption was life. And so whether you've thought about it at all or not, it's deep-rooted in your subconscious programming, and it's a pattern that you'll fall into if you don't consciously choose to make different choices. And as you do that, you slowly start rewriting that subconscious programming, and you start to become a new person, a better person, a person who is a producer and not merely a consumer. And you don't have to get carried away with what other people are doing. You can gently lead them to wisdom, but you can't make them be wise. And if they want to just be consumers and they refuse to hear instruction, there's nothing you can do for them. That's their choice. You can't browbeat them into it. And that's not even your choice to do in the first place. You have to focus on yourself. Too many people are focused on other people, what they're doing, what they're not doing. And yet the most important thing is to focus on what you're doing and what you're not doing. Focus on yourself, correct yourself, your own errors. And here's one of the things, because I know many people like myself, you want to help other people. And it is frustrating and saddening when you can't, when other people won't hear you, won't listen. But here's the thing, when they see you making changes, they see you producing. I've had people plainly tell me that when they're around me, they feel more productive. They feel more energized. They get more done than they ever get done, just by being around me. Now, the reason for that is because you will naturally, if you're in a high vibrational state, you're not getting sucked into the world and the way the world does things, and you're doing things to honor God, other people see that. It's your light lightening the world. Your light is shining and other people are seeing it, and other people will be drawn to it. And they'll want to emulate the good results they see, the good actions they see. And you can enact change in people by simply changing yourself. And so that's what I would ask you to do today. If you've fallen in this trap, or maybe just this pre-programming that you had from early childhood of consuming and entertainment and relaxation and all these things, some of those things are good. You do need relaxation, of course. But most people's lives are almost infinite relaxation, very little work, and almost no producing. Change that around. Become a producer. Limit your consumption, and you will also see other people change as well. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.